Okay, the recording started, guys. Okay, so we have throughout this course, it's been a week since we have started this course, guys. Let me see. Where is it? Yeah. So it's been around 7 days since we've 6 days since we've started this course. We've gone through all these topics, and just to give a brief intro, we've gone through this particular SDLC, different types of testing. What is performance testing? How do we do it? Why do we do it? What is the scope of performance testing? What are the different terms that are being used? Okay, there are different terms that we have actually gone through. We said we'll talk about the protocols a little bit later. We've discussed about what are the different roles of performance engineers. We have also discussed on how to do the performance testing, different performance test tools. Um, what are the different types of performance testing we have discussed in detail, very much in detail. Yesterday we had a very good discussion on what are the different scenarios. We've specifically looked at one particular scenario. There is one person, Sai Krishna, I believe, who actually asked this question. It's a pretty good question. He did not join today. It's a pretty good question that we've actually gone through, and we've discussed on this. So, any questions, guys, before we start? Any questions?
No.
Okay, I'll assume that is the answer from everyone. And guys, this will be a very interactive session, so you have to be very open, and you should start talking. It will not be like I would just Okay, looks like Pawan joined. Okay, it will not be like I would be talking, and you would actually be just listening. All right, so you would actually have to you would also have to talk a lot, and this would be a very interactive session. All right. So these are the different things that we have discussed until now, guys. So let's see what are the other topics that are there. Okay, so today I actually want to go ahead and start discussing on uh, know your computer, right? So what is why do you want to know our computer, and how is it relevant to this particular course? Yes, guys. Yes, guys. Why do we want to understand what our computer does, and what are the different things that are there in our computer, and how does that helps in our training? How does that helps in our performance testing training?
We are using the softwares in our local computer, right? So that meanwhile we need to know about computer configuration.
We need to know about our computer configuration. See, guys, what we are when we are actually doing the performance testing, one of the important things that we are actually going through is one of the important thing that we are actually going through is, yes, guys, monitoring the
Yes.
apart from response times, what else are we monitoring?
Server
Server
CPU.
performance. The whether you call it as server CPU, memory, disk, all those things we're actually trying to monitor. Okay, so
Sure.
yeah.
In the spike testing and capacity testing, we are applying so much of load.
Mhm.
For example, if Amazon has some sale, there will be a spike for some days. Then how will the server performance will be?
Right. Yeah, I will answer this question for now. But guys, before we started the session, we've been asking, like, if you have any questions, please ask the questions at that time. If there is any question that is relevant to the topic that we are discussing right now, you can always ask. Welcome. But then, if you are completely shifting the topic, then we'll lose the flow. Okay, it would not
Okay.
be fair for everyone. All right. So for now, I will answer this question, but please keep in mind, like, ask the questions while you are actually, if there is some topic that you want to discuss, apart from whatever the topic that we are discussing right now, wait until the end of the session. I would definitely ask you, if there are any questions at the end of the session, and at the beginning of the session as well. We'll ask if there are any questions, and we'll take all the questions that are there. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
All right, Prashanti. So what you're asking me is, there would be some flash sales, there would be some sudden sales in Amazon, or any other kinds of websites. Now, at those times, what would be the kind of server, what would be the kind of performance on the server, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, at those times, the server performance would be, they would have already tested those kind of spike scenarios.
Okay.
Okay, they would have already tested the spike scenarios, and they would have actually ensured that this particular system is working perfectly fine even under that particular spike scenarios.
Okay.
Okay, and only then they would have offered you a sale. Otherwise, they would not offer you a sale.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Okay, so that is the first thing. The second thing is, we have this particular concept of on-prem and cloud. Okay, we have the concept of where shall we write it? Let's go ahead and the end. Okay, we have this concept of on-prem and cloud.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you mean by on-prem and what do you mean by cloud? On-prem means all your servers, they are located on the company's premises, right? The company has its own data center wherein you would actually have all this particular servers and everything that are there on that particular data center. Okay, now if you have the all the servers on the premises, then what is the advantage? You would have a lot of security, right? And
Yes.
everything, you don't need to pay anyone. Everything is on your premises. Okay, you just have to pay for the infrastructure and the ongoing network and electricity costs, but otherwise you don't need to pay anyone. All right, what do you mean by cloud? You are actually renting. It's as simple as you're actually renting from a third party. You're actually renting the server from a third party. Okay, let's say you don't have an own house. What would you do?
Rent house.
Rent
Stay in
house.
a rent house.
Stay in a rent house. Simple, right? So why would you stay in a rent house? Why can't you buy an own house? Yes, guys. Why won't you buy an own house?
But
We
to
can
buy a own house, it requires a lot of money. To pay the rent, it will be less.
Exactly. That is one of the reasons. It requires a lot of money in order to buy the house, right?
Invest.
Isn't it? There is one more reason, guys. There is one more reason why people would like to stay in rent houses. Can you think of it? Why?
To save
we
the
can
money.
always move if we want a better house.
Exactly. You can move at any point of time, isn't it?
Mm.
You can simply say, all right, you know what, landlord, I'm bored of this house. I want to have a change of scenery. I want to go to a better house, right?
Right.
And let's say now you are working in let's say high tech city. Now you've got a job in Infosys Pocharam.
Mm.
If it is an own house, you would have to commute a lot, isn't it? In Hyderabad traffic, if you want to commute, it's hell, isn't it? But then if it is a rent house, thank you, bye bye. Rent a house in Pocharam.
Yes.
Simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of comfort in having rent house as well. All right. Uh, each has its own advantages and disadvantages. The same thing applies over here as well, guys. The same thing applies over here as well. On-prem, what would happen? You are buying the house, right? That is, you are buying the server. You need a lot of money to buy the server. Because it's
Yes.
not like 80,000 or 1 lakh wherein you buy a laptop. The server class machines, they're extremely costly. Okay, you need to spend if not crores, lakhs of rupees in order to buy those servers. Okay, it would run into tens of lakhs. All right, so in order without spending that money, especially for the startups or anything like that, without spending that money, what you can do, you can always take a rent. Okay, so but the benefit of own houses, extreme security. Now unless you permit, nobody can enter your house. But rent house, your landlord can enter anytime. There could be other tenants that are there in the same rent house, isn't it? So lots of security issues. Okay, so there is pros, there are cons. Okay, but you would actually have to find out what is better for you and what suits your present requirements. Okay, and one of the benefit that you get out of this rent houses, let's say you're just married and you moved into a 1-bedroom house. Okay, you have a 1-bedroom house. Now your parents or your in-laws wants to come and stay with you for some time, but it's a 1-bedroom house, guys. It's barely enough for you. What can you do? What can you do?
Adjust.
To BHK.
Once you can get adjusted. When you get adjusted, what would happen? You would start getting frustrated,
Yes.
right? You would start getting frustrated, for every resource, for washrooms, for kitchen, everything, it would be crammed, and you would start getting frustrated. The same thing happens even on our real-time applications. If you are trying to adjust with the limited capacity that you have, if you are trying to adjust, what would happen? More number of users are coming onto the same server. If the capacity is not sufficient, what would happen? People would start getting frustrated. The response times would be very high, and people would start getting frustrated, right? So
Right.
what you would have to do? You would have to, guys, that's simple. That is a rented house. Who cares, right? Either you can move into a bigger house, right? Either you can move into a bigger house, or what you can do is, let's say your in-laws, your parents, or whoever they're going to stay with you only temporarily. Okay, they're not going to stay with you permanently. They just want to visit. They want to stay with you temporarily for a few days, and then they want to go to their own place. Okay, in that case, why do you want to move to a bigger house? You're pretty comfortable with in your own house. So what you can do is, try taking another apartment for rent, which is pretty closer to you, right? So they can it feels like they stay with you, and then you still have your own comfort. And once they're fed up and they're gone, you can always get rid of that apartment, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? Simple, right? You don't need to pay a ton of money. All you need to do is you need to take a month on month. I would just pay this month's rent, and I would stay. Next month, देखेंगे. Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
So that way, what you can do is you can rent additional resources for a nominal fee. You can rent additional resources for a nominal fee, and you would actually be able to accommodate more number of if there are more users and all. Okay, but then guys, let's say you have children now. Now would you want to rent a additional house? No, those children are going to stay with you at least for 18 years. If it is in US and Canada, they're going to stay with you at least for 18 years. Or if it is in India, maybe, probably forever. Right?
Right.
So in that case, what would you want to do? You would want to move to a bigger house.
Yes.
But then still, do you really want to buy a house in that case? That depends on your requirements, right? Maybe I want to buy a house. Maybe, I would say, you know what, this is good. I can move to a better house every now and then, right? That purely depends on your requirements. So what you can do is at that time, you would actually be able to see, okay, you can move to a bigger house if needed, right? Similarly, what you can do is in the cloud environments, what you can do is you would actually be able to rent a little more space, a little more resources. Okay, let me come to the computer terminology. If you are actually having a spike, if you are actually having a just a temporary spike in the requirements, then what you can do, you can rent a little more resources
Okay.
according to your requirement. According to your requirement, you can rent a few more resources, and you can actually go through that particular temporary spike of the requirement. Okay,
Okay.
that is one possibility.
Mm.
Or let's say you are going to have these spikes very 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 frequently now, then what you can do, you can actually move into a bigger resource space.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
clear about it, guys? Now all this and one more thing, one more very very important thing. We are having new trends every day, guys. Like you're getting new technologies nearly every day. Whatever the technology that we had last year is completely gone this year, right? i7s, we spoke about them in the when i7 came in in the early when 2013 2012 2013, right? Or maybe 2010. I can't remember very much. We called it as Gen 1 Gen 2 or something like that, isn't it? Now what are we talking about? Gen 10. And what is the kind of difference that we have between then and now, right? I'm talking about the personal computers, guys. Okay, and if you talk about the server, there is much more improvement. All right, clear about it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, India has its own supercomputer now. Okay, so guys, what we have to do is if we are renting the space, what we can do, we can always move into a better space. But if we are owning the house, then what would happen? If you want to move to a better house, you can always sell off the old house, and you can go into a better house. But then there would be a huge capital requirement that would be there every time. Okay, and you might actually start losing a lot of money. And probably house might be a bad example, probably car is a better example. Okay, so if you want to you have a Maruti car. Now if you want to have a BMW, if you want to buy a BMW, what would happen? You would have to spend a lot more money, right?
Right.
But then if you are just renting it, you'd still have to between the rent of Maruti car and between the rent of BMW, there would still be a huge difference. But then yes guys, it is nominal, it's just rent, like, right? Like probably Maruti car would you would have to spend 1,000 rupees per day. BMW, you would have to spend 10,000 rupees per day. But if you have to buy a Maruti car, you would have to spend 10 lakhs per car. Whereas for a BMW, you might have to spend probably 2 or 3 crores per car, right? The reason why I'm shifting from houses to cars is because the cars, what would happen? You would actually, lose the value every day, isn't it?
Yes.
That is what would happen with the servers as well. They would lose the value every day. Okay, the moment they're out of a new server would come, there the model is old and you would actually start losing the value. Okay, house might not lose the value so much, but the cars would very fast lose their values. Similar thing happens with the servers.
Okay.
Okay, clear about it, guys?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what you have to do is, especially this Amazon and all, these guys, if they are actually seeing that, they have an increased requirement, what they would do, they would, probably, they would actually rent more space. They would actually have ensure that if their existing requirement is not sufficient, they would ensure that they would actually rent more space, right? Yeah. And guys, you can do that in the on-prem as well, but it would be a pretty costly exercise. If you have to keep a spare server, then it is actually like you are spending a lot of money just in order to take care of a few requirements. Okay, that might not be really helpful. All right, clear about this, guys?
Yes, sure.
Did that answer your question, Prashanti?
Yes, sure.
All right, guys. Any other questions? All right, guys. Now going back to my own question, today's topic is know your computer, right? So why is it relevant to our topic? Whatever the performance testing that we are actually working on, why is it relevant to this particular topic? Yes, guys.
For the tool we are using.
Maybe
As
this is
we,
the basic requirement for the performance test.
as we said, what we are going to do, we are actually trying to, while we are doing the performance testing, we are actually trying to monitor the server performance, right? We're trying to monitor the server performance. Now, when we try to monitor the server performance, guys, monitoring the server performance in the on the servers or on your own computer, it's not much different. Okay, the resources that you have on the server or on your own computer, they're not much different. You have the CPU, you have the RAM, you have the disk, all this would be the same on the server, but then they would have much higher capacity. That's it. Okay, so once what is there on your own machine, once you are actually able to see those, once you are actually able to monitor those, it would be very easy for you guys in order to shift on to servers and try when we are talking about the server performance, it would be very easy for you to correlate. Okay, clear about it, guys? Yeah. So guys, let's talk about our own computer. Now, the first thing that is there, let's actually talk about the infrastructure. Okay, so what are all there on the computer? You have a monitor, you have a central processing unit, you have a keyboard, you have mouse, you have the RAM, you have disk, you have cache memory, right? You have all these things. When you actually integrate them, then you're actually getting your computer, right? Yes, guys. Now, guys, when I've spoken about a few things like you have your monitor, you have your keyboard and mouse. These are all going to help you in order to work with your central processing unit or the memory or anything, right? But then those are not the essential parts. Okay, probably for your computer they are essential parts, but on the server they're only helping you, right? So the most important things that you that are there on your servers, they're central processing unit, the CPU, the RAM, the memory, disk, network. So these are the most important things. All right. Yes, guys. Everything would be dependent upon these. Yes, guys.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you have these, would you be able to directly work with them? Would you be able to directly work with these? If I just give you a central processing unit, a RAM, a disk, and network, would you be able to directly work with them? You would have to first make them understand what your commands are, right? You would have to first make them understand what your commands are in order for them to work for you, isn't it? So how would you make them understand what your commands are? The basic thing that you actually need to have is you should need an operating system. Okay, you would need an operating system, right, guys? So when you have the operating system on top of this, on all this infrastructure, only then this infrastructure would actually be able to understand your commands. Okay, only then your infrastructure would actually be able to understand your commands. Okay, so what are the kind of operating systems that we have? Yes, guys.
Windows, Linux.
Windows, Linux. What are the different? In Windows, there are several flavors of operating systems, right? What are the different flavors?
Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 8.1.
Yeah. So lots of Windows, isn't it? Windows XP. If you are as old as me, it'll be Windows XP. Windows 95, right? Somebody as old as me or Pawan in this batch?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody wants to admit. All right. Just kidding, guys. So we have different flavors of these operating systems. Now, guys, according to operating systems as well, you would actually see that the performance of this particular applications would change because the operating systems would prioritize these commands according to their own design. All right. So probably on different operating systems there would be different priorities, and according to that and according to their design as well, your complete infrastructure behavior would change. Okay, so selecting the right operating system for your application also would be very, very important. All right, clear about it, guys? Right. So now that is about the operating system and the system configuration. One more very, very important thing that you actually have to understand is regarding your network. Okay, what you have to do, you would also you're not isolated, right? You don't want to be isolated. You want to talk to different people, and in order to talk to different people, you need to have a network, right? And you need to have a LAN, Wi-Fi, WAN, whatever, right? So once you have this particular LAN, what you have, once you are connected to the network, then what would happen? If you are connected to the network, in order for you to communicate to the other people, you need to have a address, right? So what is your address? Yes, guys, what is your address?
So IP
Pin
code.
code.
Sorry. Okay, so you would actually have this particular IP address. This 192.168, this is my local IP, guys. Okay, but you would also have a public IP. Okay. All right, guys. So these are this 202. These are all my DNS servers. And one more very important thing is, guys, this is the IPv4 address. All right, this is my IPv4 address, whatever that you are actually seeing over here. Yeah, this is my IPv4 address. Okay, and what is my IPv6 address? What is V6? Again, similar to the network, similar to the different flavors of this operating systems, guys. The network as well is improving day after day. Okay, and there are so many people that are getting connected to the network that there are not enough IPv4 addresses that are there. Okay, probably yes, in the olden days, yes, but now we are very fast running out of the IPv4 addresses. So in order to tackle this scenario, we have actually come up with IPv6. Okay, now this has a lot more addresses than what IPv4 has. Okay, so what you can do, you would actually be able to have more addresses. Okay, so this is the IPv6 address, local address. Okay, you would have a different address altogether for the public. All right, so this is the IPv4 and IPv6. All right, clear about it, guys? Yes, guys. So you would have this IPv4 and IPv6, and you would actually have the public IP as well as private IP. Whatever that I have shown you, that is a private IP. Okay, this 192 dot all this is a private IP. There would be a different public IP. What do I mean by public IP? Which is actually visible to the internet. All right, which is actually visible to the internet. Okay, clear about it, guys? And then you have host name. What is the name of this particular machine? Okay, what is the name of this particular machine? That is a host name. Okay, so all these are the basic things that you would that your computer would actually have, guys. Similarly, any server would also have. All right, so all this, most of you might actually be feeling most of you, in the sense people who are from the computer science background, they might actually start feeling a little bit bored. But guys, please remember, these are the basic things that are there on your computer, and without these, without understanding all this very properly, probably you might not actually be able to work with your computer very fast. Okay, since you already have all this training, you might actually work with that inherently. You would have that knowledge and you would start working with them without the knowledge. But then you need to understand all these things in order to work with them easily. Okay, clear about it, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, now what are the other things? And what do you mean, what do I mean by public IP, by the way? See, I'm there in a Wi-Fi network. Okay, I'm there in a Wi-Fi network. What does that mean? I have different, there is one Wi-Fi router which is actually open to the public, but then there are different machines, different devices that are connecting to that particular Wi-Fi network. Okay, there are different machine devices that are getting connected to the Wi-Fi network, and that Wi-Fi network is actually getting connected to the public internet. Okay, so what we are there is only one public IP, but there are multiple private IPs for all the devices that are getting connected to the Wi-Fi network. Is that clear? Yes, guys. You won't take a separate internet connection for each of the device that you have, will you?
No.
Guys, am I confusing you? Are we going okay?
For me, it's okay.
Yes, guys, everyone.
It's clear, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Then we know what the name of this server is, and we know this particular LAN and WAN. What is LAN? Local area network.
network.
Right. So what we would have, I would actually be able to ensure that inside my office or inside my house, I would actually be able to have all my devices connected, and that would become a LAN. And what is a WAN?
Wide area network.
Wide area network. What would happen in a wide area network? What would happen in a wide area network? Let's say you have
Externally device will get connected.
okay. Let's say you have multiple offices in Hyderabad. Okay, you're actually connecting all the offices through one network. Okay, clear about it, guys? Then you have the ping command. What do you mean by ping command? Let's say I want to connect to one of the machines. Let's say I want to connect to one of the machines. In that case, if I want to see whether I have a basic connectivity to that particular machine, whether I'm able to, have a basic connectivity, in that case, what I would do, I would just do a ping. Ping 172 dot. I don't have any machines that are actually connected, so I'll this ping might not actually work, but then just bear with me. 192.168.0.31. Okay. Oh, I'm actually getting, so probably I've got something right. Like I'm pinging one of the devices that is already there in my house. Okay, so I'm actually able to get the response. Okay, clear about it, guys? Yes, guys. Okay, so that is the ping command. What you do, if you want to connect to one particular machine, then you are actually trying to see if you are if you have the basic connectivity or not. And how would you check whether you have the basic connectivity or not? You would use this particular ping command. Okay, similarly, let's say I want to on the public internet, I want to connect to amazon.com. So what I would do, I would say amazon.com, ping amazon.com. What would happen? It would actually try and ping this particular amazon.com public IP. Okay, clear about it, guys? Yes, guys. It would actually try to send a ping command to this particular Amazon public IP, and since I'm getting the response, it says reply from. Okay, and finally it says packets sent 4, packets received 4. So there is no loss. I have a very good connectivity to the Amazon website. Okay, clear about it, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. And this particular this thing, it is called as command prompt, and you would actually be able to execute some of the some of these things from this command prompt, and you would also be able to open this particular command prompt in the admin this thing. Okay, so now comes the important things, guys. Now this firewall is one of the important things that you would actually have. So in as part of our own machine, guys, you would actually have the firewall internally built, but then as part of the servers, you might actually see that there is a completely different firewall server that is that has been established. Okay, so what this particular firewall would do, it would actually start filtering out the requests that are coming in, right? So what the firewall would do, it would actually start filtering out. It would actually try to find what are the if this particular requests are having some malicious content, if this particular requests are not what we are expecting, some malicious content is there, and it would actually start filtering out. Okay, clear about this, guys?
Yes.
And we have this particular clocks on the Windows OS, guys. Apart from this, you also have some additional clocks in the Windows OS. We'll discuss about this particular additional clocks, going forward. At this point of time, I don't want to discuss, but we'll discuss on this a little afterwards. Okay. Now, one more important thing when we are actually going through this particular, performance testing courses, one more very, very important thing that you would actually see is you would actually be able to see the remote desktop connection. Okay. What do you mean by remote desktop connection? Especially when you are working in real time, guys. Especially when you are working in the real time, you would actually work a lot with this particular remote desktop connection. Okay. What do you mean by this remote desktop connection? RDC, famously known as RDC.
Have an access to computer which is located in somewhere.
Somewhere else, right? You're actually trying to access the computer which is located somewhere else. And when you actually try to do that, how do you do that?
By typing the command.
In the run prompt, you can actually type this mstsc, and you would actually get the remote desktop connectivity window. Okay, so you can actually give the appropriate remote desktop, guys, and then you would actually be able to connect to that. Okay, clear about it, guys?
Yes.
So usually what would happen is why we need this particular remote connectivity is sometimes, guys, what would happen is if we are working, let's say we are working for a service-based company, okay, and we have a client who would actually be who actually we are working for. Okay, now the client does not want you to access their application from the internet. You are sitting in your own office, the service-based company's office, or you're sitting these days people are working from home, so the client does not want you to access their application from the internet, or the client does not even want to give you a VPN access. What is VPN?
Virtual private network.
Virtual private network. Okay, so what would happen when you have the VPN access?
See, we can access remotely to the corporate network, or
it would be as good as, the moment you have the VPN access, it would be as good as you are inside their data center. You are sitting inside their data center and connected to their own LAN. Okay, clear about it, guys?
yes.
Right. Of course, there are a lot of flavors to that. It's not completely sitting inside the data center and connecting to the servers, but there are a lot of flavors to that. But essentially, it's on a high level, it is the same. Okay. So if the client does not want to give you a VPN access, or if he even if he gives the VPN access, he does not want to his application to be accessed from your own machine, then what he would do, he would actually create a machine for you on his own network. And what you have to do is you would actually have to connect to that particular machine. Okay, you would have to connect to that particular machine, and from there you can actually access all the different systems that are there on his network. Okay, clear about that, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, in those cases you would actually start using the remote desktop. Okay, so there are several Windows shortcuts, guys. We'll actually, take you through these shortcuts going forward. For now, I'm skipping that, but in the further sessions, as and when it is required, I would actually take you through these Windows shortcuts. You have this particular, host files in Windows OS. We'll also talk about this particular host files in the Windows OS going forward. Sometimes what would happen is when your DNS servers are not updated with the proper IP, then you would actually use this particular host file. What that particular DNS server is, what that particular IP is, we'll actually talk about all that. Okay. that the port numbers and all that, we'll actually talk about that once we understand what would be the server architecture. Okay, clear about it, guys?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the other topics as well, we'll actually talk about it as and when required. Okay, but the basic things are whatever that we have discussed till now. Okay, you need to have your central processing unit, the RAM, the disk, the network. These are the 4 important things that you would actually have. And in order for these to work together properly, in order for them to coordinate properly, you need to have a operating system. Okay, otherwise they are all individual components. They won't be able to coordinate properly. Okay, so you need to have an operating system. Okay, so that operating system, it would actually enable for this computer or for the server to actually coordinate among all these different things and give the commands properly and get the system working. Okay, clear about it, guys?
Yes.
And in the network, you have this particular IPv4 and IPv6. What is IPv4? You would have something like, something like this. Okay, this is IPv4. Okay, but IPv6, you would have 5 components to this. All right, so this is IPv6. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Right. So what we would have this particular IPv4 and IPv6 in order to communicate to this particular server. Okay, we have discussed about a few things like LAN, WAN, public IP, private IP, host name, the ping commands, the remote desktop connections, and all this. Okay, so a few basic things that apart from this, the CPU, memory, and disk. Apart from this, a few basic things we just want to bring to your notice in order to ensure you would have this on back of your mind, and you would actually start researching a little bit more on top of this. Okay, clear about this, guys?
Yes.
Now, one more topic that I wanted to take forward before we go ahead is, no, I just talked about it, but I want to service company and product company. What do you mean by a service company and what do you mean by a product company? Yes, guys?
This is a service company. Microsoft is a product company because they develop the products.
Yes, the
Services.
company which actually develop the products. Okay, the company which actually develop the products and which have the the complete proprietary information, that is the product company. Okay, now the product company might not have all the IT resources in order to support their systems, or the product company, if they want to build some software, they might not have all the IT resources in order to build that particular software. So what they would do, they would actually employ this particular service company. Okay, they would actually employ this particular service company, and they would actually temporarily get those resources, and they would actually build that particular software or support their existing infrastructure, existing softwares. Okay, so that is what would happen in the service companies and product companies. So the way that you work would be completely different when you are actually in the service company or a product company. Okay, so why is that? Why is that? In a product company, what would happen is you would you would be the owner of the application, and you would actually have to directly work with your counterparts in order to get the work done. But in a service company, what would happen is you would have a client. The client would actually give you certain tasks in order to get that completed. Okay, so the work would be a little different when you're actually working with a service company and a product company. Okay, fortunately, myself and Pawan both have worked for both service companies and product companies, and we have a lot of experience on both. Okay. Clear, guys? So how would the work be different? How you would actually have a different kind of work that we would actually discuss while we are actually discussing on the real-time projects and all. Okay. Now, guys, how many of you have already installed LoadRunner? How many of you have already installed LoadRunner? Yes, guys. That's bad. That's really bad. Guys, please install LoadRunner. If you're all you have to do is you would actually have to. Pawan, are you there? Give me one moment, guys. Pawan, are you there? Okay, never mind. I stopped sharing, didn't I? So go to the Google and okay. So it would actually take you to the Micro Focus site. Okay. Go into the particular Micro Focus site and okay, LoadRunner Professional. So okay, let's say it's not LoadRunner Professional. Let's say LoadRunner Community Edition download. Okay. So be very clear. You want to download the LoadRunner Community Edition and go to this particular steps to download the LoadRunner Community Edition. Okay. So there seems to be some issue that is going on right now, and they actually put it on the Micro Focus website itself. So go through this and you would actually be able to see that you have to register to the Micro Focus account. You just register and then you would actually be able to download this particular LoadRunner Professional. Okay.
Okay.
Clear about it, guys? So if you don't have an account, create an account. All right.
Yeah.
And once you create it, you would actually be able to download that. Okay. So I would want you to just try this, guys. To ensure you understand what it is. If you are facing any issues, and tomorrow is anyways, we are not going to have a session. So I would want you to try this, and if you face any issues, please let us know. You all of you guys have my WhatsApp number, right? So ping me over the WhatsApp, and we can actually chat. Okay. Maybe you can actually ping it in the group chat so that we can actually discuss over there. Everybody would get benefited. Okay.
Which version we need to download?
Hey, by the way, guys, Pawan here. So we need an official email ID to download ourselves, Sham. So they
Right.
cannot download. Those who are not having an official email ID cannot download.
No, I
So
want
we
them to find.
share it to others.
No, I wanted them to find that out.
Okay.
Yeah. Face an issue. Try to figure it out on how how to resolve that. Right. Guys, I don't want to spoon feed you. Okay. I don't want to spoon feed you. Face an issue. Try to figure out how to come across that. All right. Yes, Pawan has opened it. Anyways, so what you have to do is, if you you need to have an official email ID. So if you don't have an official email ID, ask your friends. Ask your friends to, all you have to do is you just have to register from that, and you just have to enable that. Okay, and once you enable that, what you can do is you can log into that particular office official ID, and you can actually download that particular software. Okay.
We will share the required software, Sam. Okay. Let
Yeah,
us
yeah,
share the required software.
yeah. If that is not possible, we are always there. Yes, we can share the required software, and we can actually go from there. Do you already have it somewhere in the Google Share, Pawan? Pawan? Hello?
Yes,
Am I
yes,
audible?
yeah. I already have it in my Google Drive. I can share
Okay.
it.
Maybe you want to share it in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, please
Okay.
share everyone. Please share your Gmail ID if you haven't shared it to me before. Please share your Gmail ID in WhatsApp. One-on-one. Please don't share it in the group, on the common WhatsApp group. So, however, please share it to me one-on-one separately if you haven't shared me before. Okay. Those who already shared, I have. But those who are who did not share your Gmail ID, please share it so that we can share the required software.
Pawan, you want to add anything to our today's discussion?
Yeah. So by the way, like we got one corporate training requirement, and we are in a discussion phase with them, Sham. So they have a 10 people, 10-member batch. So
Nice.
and I told that we cannot give training for only 10 people.
Mhm.
So they agreed to. We are actually like I'm making them to convince. I'm trying to them to convince that they can join this batch only, along
Okay,
with our students. Okay. So if
that's
they
nice.
join, like we will have like, and one more thing is like those who completed JMeter with me, they also will join once Loadrunner is started. Once
Okay.
Loadrunner tool is started next week,
Mhm.
there are some people who are taking JMeter training with me, right?
Yeah, they
So
don't
they
want to
will
repeat
also
the
join.
basics.
They will also join this batch, and
Yeah,
we have a limit of 30 people, right?
yeah.
As today there is change in timings, like some people might have missed it, right?
Mhm.
So please confirm you're joining as soon as possible. So we have a limit of 30 people, cap of 30 people in the batch. So 10 people corporate training, and five people will be joining from my JMeter batch. Okay,
Mhm.
15 people, and 5 people already paid fees, 20. Got it till now, right? So please confirm you're joining as soon as possible. And once it crosses 30, we will not be able to take any more.
Pawan, can you please let me know the process how to enroll, how to pay the fee?
Yeah, I'll share my Google Pay or Phone Pay number in the WhatsApp group. I'll share it. So Sham, you can stop recording. Probably I'll share the Zoom meeting or Google Pay. Sorry.